Hello guys. Today I'm going to do some commentary on a Crazy House World Championship match from the elimination brackets. So that means that whoever loses this match will also be eliminated from the tournament. I'm running the stream on a small delay, so the players don't have any benefits of listening to my stream during their play. And that should be, of course, nothing you would like to do when you're playing a serious game, but we also don't want to give the opportunity, of course, to do such a thing. So we have emrty, who is rated around 2300 and has almost 30,000 games. Very experienced player, of course, and also have seen him higher rated than this. And on the other side of the board we have variantbunny, and we are going with the perspective of variantbunny today. And variantbunny, as you can see, is a less experienced player, but has already reached a very high rating with only a couple of games, basically. And you would maybe think 600 games is a lot, but in chess and in Crazy House it will be very hard to get that strong that quickly. And variantbunny, also known for opening preparation, likes to do stuff researching openings, so we'll probably see some nice lines today. Mugwort in the chat asking when I'm playing the Dutch Bullet Championship. And tonight, in 7 hours, I'm playing the knockout stage, first round against an international master from the Netherlands. So it will be very tough to go past the first round, but I'm already happy that I managed to qualify yesterday in one of the qualifiers. So yeah, going to be more streams today as well. I'm going to stream this and then take a break, and then at 5 p.m. or 5:30, in 5 hours, something like that, there's CWC against CIW in the Crazy House World Championship main bracket. Very interesting matchup as well, because CWC is also always interesting to watch him play. And if CIW is in shape, then he could put up a fight, so that would be nice. And also the Dutch Bullet Championship afterwards. So they're taking a while to start. Maybe they're chatting a bit, or someone needs a break, I don't know. In the meantime, maybe we can talk a bit about predictions. I think in the end emrty will take it away if he manages to get out of the opening preparation. Okay, so they're starting. So I'm predicting something like 6-4, 6-3. Hey, okay. What's your prediction for this matchup? Okay, so emrty opting for a d4 setup with a quick bishop g5 and a bishop b5. It's it's a safe setup for white. Wolf suggesting variantbunny will win 6-4. We'll see. But this is a really safe setup for white. But then again, for black also not much to worry about in the early stages. No really forcing lines. Okay, so c5 is sort of committal because you open up the c6 square for a knight, maybe. And also knight takes d7. Okay, nice find. Sacking the queen. Whoa, that took her like took variantbunny like 1 second to make that decision. I think maybe just taking here and take on f6 was fine. Because now you have to watch out. I think, for example, pawn at f6 at some stage is nice. And this knight is doing a defensive job, but it can easily be harassed with bishop at h3. So this is not a good move. Okay, going for 5-5. And then who wins the tense tiebreak? That could be anybody's game then, I guess. So yeah, okay, committing to sacrificing on e3, but this doesn't feel right for black. Pawn g6 is nice because if knight takes g7, there's whoa, knight takes g7. These squares are covered for no other knight entry. But you don't have to take on g7, of course. But maybe g5 next is nice. Okay, opting not to take the knight to not allow a further attack, and instead trying to go for something on this square. I like this move, bishop at d4. It solves a bit of the problems on the dark squares. Take, I guess. Maybe knight at h5. And again, the players are not... when I suggest a move and they play it instantly or in a few seconds, there's no chance that they have heard it. They have to wait like a minute or something. Okay, so black has survived so far. These knights are actually helping the defense a bit, so you can just leave them be for now. And maybe you can think about harassing this square some more with pawn at e3 for black. And white's, I don't know, maybe white can try something. Something like knight takes c6 and rook takes c6. Okay, bishop takes e7. Bishop at e7. Creative move. Let's see the point. Take. Maybe knight takes e6. I don't know. But you can also just take on g7 twice and then give up the rook. And then you should be fine. Going for the attack first, blocking off the e-file. I think this is okay to include this. But on the other hand, you do give white some diagonals to work with. So if takes, bishop at e5 is really strong, I guess. Or even pawn at e7. Maybe pawn at e7 first. But this also creates the option of taking here. Oh, knight at f2 is on. That's okay. But maybe there are some queen at h8 ideas here. I don't know if queen at h8, knight takes e6, for example. You have to calculate those. But now you don't have a checkmate with black, so knight takes h2 was just a bad move. You had to try something else. The Hobbit from Backhand asking if a pawn that has been promoted gets captured. Does that give a pawn the piece that's promoted to? No, it does not. If you promote the pawn to whatever, if your opponent captures it again, you just get a pawn back in the pocket. I believe there was this Spanish website, Buho or something, where they didn't have that in the code, so then you did receive the pawn piece that was promoted. But I think this is just giving the pawn back is more natural. Okay, so first game relatively easy to emrty, and now we have variant bunny with white, and we see a French structure with an early knight, knight c3 and knight e4. And this is common, a common, not so common idea, but a relatively common idea to go queen g4 to harass the g7 pawn when the bishop is not on f8 anymore. You make rook f8 or rook g8 happen, and next you can go to h7 maybe. Yeah, the Hobbit from Backhand, you're right. So you're better off sacking a queen you have promoted than the one you. And in some cases, it is indeed really useful to sack your promoted queen. Okay, so here this game already looks like it's going to be huge advantage for white here. Knight takes, bishop takes. Queen is on breach, and then queen takes h7, knight at g6. Ideas. Yeah. By the way, note that queen f7 is made in 1, so you probably have to take the knight. The queen e8 doesn't help because you trade and go queen at f7. And you take the rook, and mate will follow shortly. And taking on c3 or something like that earlier is also not helping. And now you can, I guess you can take care. And it's already some knight at g6, queen takes, rook at d8. Queen, king f7. And then you can go knight h8 if you want, or you can just take the queen. Yeah, as he finds it. Just taking the queen. It's absolutely fine, of course. But I think knight h8 was slightly more accurate, because now there's no immediate checkmate, but a really strong attack, of course, and g7 is going to fall. Taking the knight doesn't work because queen takes g7, king h5, queen h5, king g4, h3 is mate. So you have to cover knight at e8. So yeah, good remark here by Mugwort that if emrty wants to have a chance with black, he has to change his opening, because after queen g4 I already think white is looking really good. So rook at g8 played. You can just promote. Queen h5 is also a nice move. Knight h8 ideas. This is nice as well. If g6, queen h7, you can only block with queen or go king e8. King f8 takes, bishop h6 probably also works. Or just take the rook. The Hobbit from Backend asking if you can place with check. Yeah, that's possible. You can put pawns on the 7th rank as well. Not on the 8th, of course. Yeah, so just taking, white is just taking her time here to take all the pieces. There's no threat at home, so. Yeah, this should lead to forced mate. Takes bishop f6. Yeah, takes. If it takes this one, bishop f6, take the knight or go here. Pawn at g7 and rook h8. Doesn't matter in the sequence. Really doesn't matter. And now queen g7. Nice one. Okay, so 1-1. Variantbunny going for a Dutch defense. And it's actually funny, it looks like you gave up this square which you in Crazy House, and it's just a really weak square usually. But if white does not go after f7 quickly, or create an attack on h6 for example, then black should be happy with this pawn on f5. because it's fortifying e4, of course, but also it's supporting g4 later on, maybe. Hi, Nightmare Gryphon, welcome. So yeah, a slower idea here could be to develop the bishop like this, because it seems like emrty is not playing really sharp attacking lines. Going for knight h5, even now bishop here might be good. Attacking the queen again for just one piece. Maybe bishop at g6. But yeah, I don't understand. It was not necessary to sack the queen. Bishop at g4, spotted. And the queen is trapped now, okay. But now queen sacrifice and taking on e4. Sharp line. I missed that the queen would have been trapped. So kudos to variantbunny for finding that. But still, this looks hard. If you take the bishop, knight at g5, king h6, knight at f7, for example. Close to mate. So probably, okay, safe move, king h7, king h8 back. But that's still knight g5. To threaten queen h7. You could have saved your bishop after that. Wait and see what how black would have responded. But emrty going for bishop takes b7, bishop a6, and just saying against black, while you have no pawns, how are you going to attack me? So yeah, knight at g5 should have been played, I guess. Especially now, because now you would have liked the defender on these squares. And it just made black use the queen on h8, h6 or g8 to defend against the mate. h5 I should say, h6 it would have run into knight f7. Okay, so king g1, bishop takes f3. And now you really need the knight on g5. Okay, but sack the rook and bishop at g2 or pawn at g2. Doesn't really matter, I guess. You could also go queen at h7 takes, knight at g5 take. Don't know how good that was. But also at g2 is also fine. Okay, if you have to calculate if knight at h3 is fine, because if the queen sacrificed, there's no knight entry squares because they're both covered. Yeah, so now white is defending while attacking the queen, and that's basically, you get two moves now. Yeah, probably black is considering to take here. because if moving back you just accept your loss. But now queen at h7 is made. Queen at h7 takes, knight at g5. Because you have two queens, but maybe white doesn't spot it because it's usually not in your head that you have two queens in hand. Okay, knight g5 played, so mate missed. Still, I think you have pawn here, then king g1. I think bishop at f3 had to be played, or bishop at maybe bishop at another square. Bishop at d5 maybe. I don't know. Because now there's still this threat. Rook at g2, just king h1. Maybe king f1 more accurate because this is now taken, and then there will be some chances for black. White putting pressure on the clock here with a quick pawn at h4. I think you should take here, take this back, and then go for rook at h6 or something like that. Knight at h5, nice move because it attacks, but it also defends g7. Black has very little material to work with, but doing a nice job with it. Rook h1 to create a pin here, just gives up material. Maybe king g1 now. But I don't know, it looks like black is pulling through here. Now bishop here, yeah, that's a nice move because it prevents another pawn from coming to. Yeah, now you can take the rook and repeat. Or just checkmate. Wow, I missed that. Nice. Well played by variantbunny, and white just missed a checkmate there, and after that started defending. And then the tables were turned already. Okay, so previous game d5 was played, so now knight c6. And knight h3, which seems to be a line move that variantbunny prefers in some of these lines. And to go knight g5. In some lines you don't go for knight g5, and then you say the knight can jump to f4 as well. Okay, so we have a quick sacrifice on f7, and usually the sacrifice on f7 is sort of justified if the king has to go to e7 or the bishop is still on f8, because the king is really awkward, and there's also no developing of these pieces for now, mainly these two. So if you can capitalize on that quickly, the sacrifice should be sort of sound. So you could try queen h5 and knight at g6 ideas here. Not taking back on c6 first, that might be a blunder. I think this almost looked like pre-move f takes g5, and you should not do that with 3+2. But maybe it's okay. But I guess bishop takes d5 now and knight at c3 or knight at maybe not knight at c3, but you give options of you gave option of putting a pawn here as well. You could have taken here. Not suggested by Mugwort to go at d7, bishop takes d7, and then you can take on d5. But now you have a knight on f5. So yeah, I don't get why it's not taking back on c6. And again, emrty is being crushed out of the opening here, it seems. Pawn at c6. Or a6, okay. Okay, takes and repeat. I think variantbunny is just going to take all the bishops. And then there won't be any bishop defenders anymore. Yeah, knight at d2 is probably a bad move. Because you can sack the queen there. And that gives white another knight in hand, so probably he has mate after that. Yeah, already there's a pretty easy mate after knight at d2. You sack the queen, he takes back, knight at d7 was mate already. So take on b7, I guess. Yeah, and finally there's going to be the option of a queen sacrifice on b7, and I think when you realize that is going to happen, you just have to allow it already here. Just take, block, allow the queen sack there, because then you have way more material on hand. Okay, the queen sack not happening just yet. Maybe now it's going to happen on d7. But now the queen is away from e2, so now knight d2 ideas are going to be in play, as well as pawn d2, knight at f4. I think pawn d2, knight at f4 is already strong. This is also fine, because wow, okay, now allow knight at e2. That's going to be made surely. King of 1, knight g3, double check, and knight at e2. Okay, so emrty beats back with black in a position where I think white had chances earlier on. Maybe bishop takes b7 was the wrong way. Yeah, if you're going for this, you have to sack the queen here. Or just move back. But yeah, now the knights were coming in and just too strong. Okay, so 2-2. 2-all, and we're going back to this Dutch defense again. In chess there's this line where you go knight f3, f5, d3, knight f6, e4. That might be good in Crazy House as well. Get a pawn quickly and put it on f7 before e6 is played, but okay. So this is also an idea out of chess, I guess, to go e5. I think bishop g5 is a good decision. Just keep the pawn here. c6 is also to go queen b6. But it's all looking really adventurous. Queen sack here doesn't work. But variantbunny is stating in the chat that she did a bit of prep on this line. And maybe he wants to go g5 or knight takes e3. This is nice stuff. Trying to break up the fences of these squares. I think you have to cover e3 here. Or earlier. I mean, because sacking on e3 will be annoying. So yeah, knight d4 isn't a good idea, I guess. Since it blocks the queen. But taking here, take what's on the table. This is also well spotted because now queen takes d4 is on. You have to be careful not to be mated here. But I think there might be too little material for white. Queen takes d4, queen takes, knight takes e2. Forks. It's a more common motif in when the queen is on d8, but it shouldn't be too hard to spot. You have to calculate though that pawn here or knight at c7 is not mating you. Knight at c7 might mate you. But there is no knight, okay. I thought maybe that this was going to be a problem, but there is no knight for white. And there's also no queen g6 or something. So okay, accepting that this is going to happen, but now queen takes d3, g2 is open. But okay, the king is sort of safe on d1 and c1. Just move. Bishop g4 is okay, of course, because it creates development and it gets another check, and the king is now stuck on c1. Okay, maybe you can even take. Pawn d2 doesn't seem to hurt that much. And white also has, if a couple of pawns come, pawn at f7. Pawn at f7 now already. Looks really close. The king can run to d8, c7. And pawn at d2 is a threat to take seriously. But of course pawn at f7, if you take, there's was queen at g6 mate. Okay, so how to proceed? You have to do something about pawn d2. That's definitely going to come. There's maybe you have to put a pawn on d2 yourself. Okay. And now if you have time, you can maybe take on c6, creating a square for the knight. Or if allowed, somehow you can take the pawn. So what to do here is black probably pawns at the second rank would be nice. Okay, yeah, take the knight. There's pawn d2, I guess, winning. So let's see. Okay, queen d4 played. I was thinking about maybe not moving the knight, but then knight at d2 was made. This is a nice move because it forces the king maybe to a3, and then you can play knight at c4, and then the king cannot run back. Knight at c4 was much better. Now black is in trouble, I think. But there's time pressure, of course. I think there's even the possibility of just taking this one. No, rook at a4, you have to take, so you have to take him with the pawn, that's better. Ooh, allowing queen takes c3. Now it's over, rook at a4 mate. Nice, queen c5 was probably a forced win. Because c3 was covered by the knight, so you could take c3 anyway. Okay, good game again. Nice idea there with the h6 g5, pushing the f pawn to f4 to create an attack, and then the knight d4 idea seemed nice defensively, but it was just not good. This I don't know about this line, but it looks okay for black. H7 is hanging though, but there might also be some other ideas for black. Knight at h4. Okay, if takes the, then you take the queen, of course, and go knight takes f7. And now when you retreat the bishop, that's just really almost like admitting defeat. Yeah, queen takes g5 was on, because if takes, knight at f3 wins back the bishop. And if you take, g2 gets opened. So now there's two pieces for the queen. I think you can take once and then go pawn at h3. The bishop on is covering e7. And I think pawn at h3 takes g2. Sorry about that. Pawn at h3 takes g2 is too strong. Because the knight... Okay, this is same idea, I guess. That's okay, maybe found the defense. I was thinking knight at f4 was maybe better. Okay, the idea of course for white is that e7 has to be covered, so you cannot take here. I think you can find a way there. Yeah, chat is suggesting rook g8, but what do you do after knight at g7? think maybe pawn at g2. Note down that the king is on d8, so there's no tricks, because the knight can just retreat. And also knight takes c6 is mate in 1, or knight c6 as well. But blocking here with the knight, taking on e7. And now white has to find a mate, otherwise it's hard, I guess. But I guess there is a mate somewhere. And then pawn here to start. Takes bishop at d6 maybe. Queen at c7 is one idea. Or just pawn at f6 takes. Sack the queen. Knight h5. Or takes bishop at d8. Just going for the queen sack and knight h5, I guess. Preserving the bishop for later if king goes to here. You have to play now king d7. This is not the right move. You have to go queen e7. Now it might be lost for white. Hey, thanks for the follow, Midnight Fox. Yeah, this might be lost for white. Okay, putting in the defensive move. Block on d6, I guess. The next is probably bishop takes h3. So maybe it's not lost, but the mating pattern is lost indeed. Provoking to take here. But if you take there, then you block again. And then the queen is no longer on e2 and h3. That's basically the point of here. Okay, so a knight would be really good on e5 in a lot of cases. So you have to watch out with that. So maybe you can go bishop at e4. Okay. Not going for it. So knight e5 now is made. Maybe knight takes e6 is made as well, with the queen sack. Yeah, bishop d8 was better, yeah, it suggested it as well, yeah. Okay, he's going to run to c6, I guess. I'm running on a slight delay as well, guys, so if I don't catch your lines or comments in time, bear with me, because it's on a delay, so the players don't use my suggestions. Yeah, take the knight, and now knight a4, king a5. Tricky stuff. Knight takes d5 maybe. knight c6. Okay, just defending. Because there's only queen for black. Wow. Now you lose the queen with check. Now it's over. Queen at d3. Or d4. Doesn't really matter. Bishop here. Struggling to find a mate. Maybe because of time trouble. There we go. Queen a5. Okay. She found it. So 4-2. And chances missed. So the evaluation is swinging. Midnight Fox asking how this tournament works. It's a 128 knockout tournament, and well, if you lose, you get to the losers bracket, and you get another chance to try to advance. And if you go to I think the 6th round in the main bracket and the 8th or 9th round in the losers bracket, you get to a candidate stage of the tournament, and then in the candidate stage we have a 12-player round robin, and the winner of the candidates gets to challenge Alperwezen for the title, because he holds the title. I can post a link in chat for the bracket so you can have a look. Here you go. Okay, let's talk a bit about this game. So white sacrificed a lot of material, but I think the attack is not as strong as it looks, maybe with the bishop here. Okay, of course f4 is going to be played. If you take here, there's much more pressure on f6. So just leave it be for this. And king h8 is sometimes suggested in the chat. Maybe it's still okay, a viable option to go king h8 and pawn g7, because you have you have won a lot of material, so you can afford a few pieces that don't do nothing, just defending. I don't like c5 because the square can be used for a knight, and that cuts away another defender of f6. Let's say queen d7. You can even take on b8 first, free rook, basically. Why bishop g8 was played? I guess fear of sacrificing on h7. And maybe some tricks after that with knight to g5. Probably just over defending. Yeah, so now we get indeed the chopping away of the defenders with the knight on c6, and then variantbunny decides to resign before it's over. So 4-3 to variantbunny. and I like this choice by emrty, switching it up, going for a different opening. Variantbunny playing her almost patented knight h3 in every opening. And there was knight takes d4 missed here with knight at f3. So knight h3 was just a blunder. And now white can maybe try bishop at a4 first. And then just go bishop e2 or something. Yeah, some opera about the last game indeed. I think you're right. Some idea with king h8. So emrty missed a really good chance to get a very strong position out of the opening, but now still an okay position, I'd say. You have to think about what you do after bishop e3. I don't know if bishop d2. I think just bishop e3 is fine, because now the bishop is here, covering f3 as well as e4. And now queen d7 I like, because there's maybe castles as well as knight h4 and taking on h3. Alright, so bit of a botched up king's position for white, but I think he survived the worst of it now. Yeah, now it looks indeed okay for white. Because this knight is really awkward. Knight a7 to save it, but then queen takes b7. G is bold saying in the chat, didn't I say so strong? Yeah, variantbunny indeed strong. Strong play in some of the games, at least a bit more to the point when needed. And emrty missed a couple of chances. Okay, now this is a nice idea. Bishop at c5. some defensive ideas, and there's no pawns to block, so f2 is a bit... So the knight has to be used on e3, and that might be useful later on. Deciding to keep the knight here, because this will take a lot of time, and in the meantime black will try to create an attack. The problem is that black still can't castle, so this might be still a viable idea. Trying to get the queen into the defense maybe, but I think queen d1 seemed like a waste of move, waste of time. And also it prevents the king from running, maybe. It's okay, now maybe bishop at f3, or pawn, also good. Thinking about bishop because then you preserve the pawn for e2 later on. And also there's, yeah, I don't know. It felt more natural to keep the pawn in hand for e2 or pawn at h2. And white already resigns, sees no continuation. Yeah, the king is just really boxed in here. Okay, so we're going to 4-4. That's nice. Maybe a bit unexpected as well after those two wins by variantbunny, but emrty beats back 4-4, and it's first to 5.5. So 6-4 most of the times in Crazy House, and if it will be 5-5, then it will be best of 2 games every time. So if 5-5, there will be a white game and black game for both players to decide the winner. So tense situation here. And then this is an important one, like the previous games as well, but this one probably decides which player will become the player to be on match point. And I don't know about emrty, but I think variantbunny is a bit nervous. So that may play a role as well. Okay, going for French advanced variation. Leaves holes here, but it has been seen before. And emrty doing the sensible thing, I guess, to just develop. Problem is that knight e2, he missed knight e2. No, this is gone already, I'd say. Pawn here. And resigns. Because takes bishop at f3 is always made. emrty just playing a bit too quickly, or even bishop at g2 as well. And knight e2. Okay. That's a bit of an anticlimax for emrty. His white game not going anywhere. And now variantbunny as white again, and maybe we'll pull some preparation out of the hat again. I don't know, bishop d3 is what the... Don't know if that's the best or the most aggressive moves. Okay, some nice development here by black, but also white has a very safe pawn setup. I think you have to try e5 maybe. Knight e7, knight g6. Okay, just going for this setup. But now usually it's waiting for white to go d5 or e5. Like this. Not like this, of course. Yeah, if you take with the pawn, there might be knight at c5. And there was also this bishop hanging, or the queen hanging. So white just won a piece here. Takes. I guess you can take back. And now this is nice. A knight at f3, a knight at f4, threatening to win the queen. And you cannot normally say, okay, well, I'll sack the queen. But if you sack the queen, now knight takes e2, queen in hand, king h1, queen at h2 wins. So allowing this is a bit sloppy. Probably some other move had to be played here. Maybe bishop at g3 or something. Okay, sacking the queen again. Probably the most practical option. Queen takes h3 looks interesting. But I guess bishop takes f7. And there will be a defense somewhere. Because you can lure away the knight from f4 and then take the queen. But he decides just to take. And now if you go knight f4, there will be something dropped on d5, e6, and if you take d5, then something on e4. After taking on f7, of course. It's okay, just trying to defend. I guess now pawn at g4. Okay, and now knight f4 because of now something at e6. Just take with the bishop. Or you can take here. Because e4 is covered again. So black is creating something. Okay, this would be a good time to find a very accurate move. Don't know if this was the one. Taking d2 without thinking much. I guess pawn here, king d8, yeah, rook d1 is a good idea. There's probably some sacrifice here that wins. Sacking the queen like this. But now you have to... now white has something to work with, because the king cannot move to the d file without getting a free queen. So you could just attack here. Takes bishop at h5, for example. And there's always knight at g4 defending. if necessary. But I think there's a way to force the queen to out in the open to the d file. Okay, maybe there wasn't just king f8 in a lot of lines. Now it takes a knight g3, knight takes f1. If you take the queen, there's queen at g1 mate in 2. But bishop at c5, okay, nice defensive resource. Oh, checking and defending. Yeah, tough to play here. Pre-moved, okay. I wouldn't pre-move it because maybe bishop at e7 is played and maybe you have something there. Probably not, but maybe there was something with f6, for example. Knight at f5, knight at g7. Oh, that was maybe queen takes g4 and queen at h3, but I'm not sure. And pawn at g2 to follow. Yeah, Legion also suggesting it in the chat. But this with the time pressure seems also a good strategy. You have to watch out for knight at d5 though. Variantbunny pre-moving knight at d5. Oh, not so easy this. I think you can just take here. I think you're not safe. Rook at h2 mate you. Maybe bishop at d8. Yeah, rook at h2. Takes pawn at g3. And then the king is in the open. It should be okay. The mate should be easy to find then. Just go rook at h2. You don't have any other move. Why not going for rook at h2? Bishop at b6 now maybe. Okay, timeout. Bishop at d8, also options. Okay, 5-5. This is this is exciting because now there's 5-5 and it's best of 2 games. Every game is important here. Okay, so switching it up, playing the French again, but now going for this move. That does allow quick d4. Ah yeah, okay, he predicted 5-5 in game 1. Thanks for the follow, King TV. So yeah, the knight is coming to f5 here. It's logical, but with the pawn on c5 there are some gaps you have to worry about. Knight c3, d4, it looks really sharp. But there might be some bishop takes d7 and castles. Or just castles first, okay. Bishop takes g7 can be played afterwards. Okay, so here you have to be careful, because removing the bishop creates a lot of options for black. So pawn at d7 is a nice move, because if you take twice, there's d6 will become even more of a problem. Now maybe knight takes g5. Bishop d6, I don't know, because now pawn d7 is fine. Well, maybe white wants to sack again. Knight takes, take f6, take d7 and go pawn f6. That looks like a nice idea. Hey, thanks for the follow, MRHZ. So yeah, this is knight e4, also nice, saving the piece. And it's all focused on the dark squares here. Gotta watch out for h2, but the knight is covering nicely so far. And variantbunny is finding a nice way to fix with the bishop here, going after this square. And if you go for knight at c7, you take, bishop takes h2, king h1, knight at g3. Oh, sorry about this. Knight at g3 and checkmate. Okay, going for it, but queen takes c7 is forced, so you're going to play that anyway. And now bishop takes h2, mates. So we get the variation on the board, maybe. Yeah. C-spot sits. Okay, so now again the chance with white to finish the match. But we had 4 black wins in a row. So we'll see what black does here. Sticking to this this opening setup with bishop g4. I think it's a good idea because he had some success with it earlier on. And I'm going for a quick e5 now. No knight h3 by variantbunny this time. The idea for white is that if this is played, there might be some bishop here being annoying. She's even sacking to go something like bishop here, use these squares. Or to go after f7. Note that this knight is really important on c3, otherwise there would have been knight at e2 with mate. Yeah, queen d7 I don't like, because now you have to sacrifice the queen. Or the piece. Oh, variantbunny already calling it in the chat. Yeah, you can whisper when you're playing, you can whisper in the chat. So your opponent doesn't see it and you also don't see the chat, but you can communicate. If you were wondering. Yeah, this is just over because bishop takes f7. Too strong, I guess. And if you block here, you can even just take this one. Queen at d6 might also be an option. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. Queen at d6. Maybe allowing bishop e7. Bit sloppy, okay. Feels like a strong move. and even maybe not even going for a quick win was also fine, because white was just clearly winning. But okay, found a sort of variation of the queen at e6, bishop e7, only move I guess. Thanks for the follow, Reza. Okay, knight at c8, nice. Designed to take this. There's almost some sacrifice here coming. Knight, you can repeat this. And then you have a bishop to go bishop at e8 maybe. It's not so easy. Oh yeah, sacking the queen, of course. Nice. Nice find. Checkmate. Wow, that's a really nice finish to the match. Queen takes e7. Wow. Well played by variantbunny. Well done. Alright. Let's open the bracket. And see what consequences this has. Okay, yeah, so in about 3.5 hours this one is as well. I will stream that also. And just ending this, I'm going to end the stream soon. Just checking where variantbunny is. Ah, here, okay. So against Legion Destroyer next. That will be a nice matchup as well. Hey, Happiness Bunny. Congrats on your win. Nice match. Very strong tactic in the end there. So yeah, Legion Destroyer next, and then we'll see what happens. But this will be a nice match as well. Okay, so let me just check the time for GCC game. Yeah, so a lot of tense crazy house going on. GCC I will stream 5 PM my time, so that's in 3.5 hours. The Lone Wolf I won't stream against Yasugi, but maybe OK or Mugwort or somebody else will be able to pick that up. Would be nice to see the commentary on that one. And also after the GCC match, I'm playing my at 7 PM. I'm playing my Bullet Championship match against Xamax for the Dutch Championship. So I'll be back in a couple of hours with more content. I hope you enjoyed the commentary on this one. Let's leave it with this very lovely position of variantbunny beating emrty. I'll see you in a couple of hours.